Hello and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. I'm thrilled and super excited to talk to Paul Houlsby from Dubai. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thank you for having me, Bee.
No, thank you. I'm super excited about this chat and just where we're going to go with this because perfume is one of my favorite things in the world in terms of just, the minute you put it on, you feel better, you feel more confident, you feel beautiful, you smell beautiful. But by the sounds of things, you are revolutionizing what is perfume as we know it. The founder and
Oh.
CEO of the Perfume Movement, what a name, what I love it. A company pioneering the world's first AI-powered luxury scent system, developed over 2.5 years in partnership with the world's leading perfume house, which is a Swiss firm called Firmenich. I think I got that right.
Correct. Perfect.
Yes. And you can talk about that more. And it's paired with robotics that blend fragrances on the spot, so that whole real-time piece. And Paul, you're
Yes.
leading a revolution in how we wear perfume. Your vision
Yes.
challenges the one-size-fits-all model of traditional luxury, centering individuality and personal expression. Tell us about this because when I saw you come through and you were, interested in coming on the pod, I was like, I need to talk to you. I absolutely need to
Yeah.
talk to Paul and
Thank you.
understand how did you get to the perfume movement? What was your backstory? How did you come up with this idea?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. That was a beautiful introduction. Um, well, my very early days, going back to my mum, um, and the fact that I kind of became so aware that perfume is like a time traveler. It is, it's a means to go forward and backwards in time almost. It's my mum would wear Youth Dew, which was the first Estee Lauder perfume, and she'd dress up and she'd have her hair up and she'd be wearing, her lovely jewelry, and she'd kiss me good night and I would smell Youth Dew. And I then worked for Estee Lauder, and every time I smelt it, I was straight back with my mum. And I think there is an element of time travel, and also the olfactory sense is the most basic, the most primitive of the human senses. And it before our sight, we could smell. So smell is a way of really connecting on every level, sensing danger, sensing all sorts of things. So scent is a very primal and primitive notion. And for me, it's the most intimate expression of who you are. Um, so for me, if an industry creating perfumes is about one size fits all, as in when a perfumer makes a perfume or historically has made a perfume, he tries to please as many people as possible. He's creating a mass commodity. So he's creating something that by its very nature is a commodity that is not unique. And when you think that every single person's perception of scent is unique to them, for me, this was what was my light bulb moment that we needed to use advances in technology to enable somebody to create a completely unique set of perfumes that match their personal and
Yeah,
the
100%.
DNA and their real sense of who they are. So that was the light bulb moment, and I just I'm kind of astounded by the hype of these houses that just basically say, no, 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 you don't need to think. We will tell you what to wear. Well, perfume, it's not that game. It really is something very personal.
So personal. Wow. And so when it's like the AI, the tech piece,
Yeah.
had you always been a tech person? Like obviously perfume, but then tech and then putting the two
Yeah.
together. Like what was the
Yeah. What was the trigger? Yeah, well, perfume is scientific. It is chemistry. It is it is science. I'd say as a person, I've always been if somebody tries to tell me to do something, I'm almost deliberately, and this is a childhood thing also, I would want to look different, I want to talk different, I want to be different because I always felt, I always had an original tone of voice. So I think that's always been part of me. As in science, I mean, I'm educated in business. I have an analytical mind, but I think more than anything else, I believe in channeling the light and bringing the means. And today the means are greater. But I would echo the point about, AI. Everyone has this notion that it's just doing all the work for you and that you don't have to think. Quite the opposite. AI can be banal and ordinary. It's actually giving you what already exists. The journey I've been on over 3 years has been 99% art and 1% science. That science is still taking a lot of time, but it's basically the art
Yeah.
that is captured. I'll give you an essence of it. So Firmenich, the most incredible perfume house in the world, the most incredible partner who've given 3 meetings a week over 2.5 years, which is extraordinary. These are the best of the best. And basically they have given me the time and my team the time to do a couple of things. The first thing was over a year, 5 noses, and there's more astronauts on the planet than there are noses. A nose is a person within a perfume house that has an elevated sense
I love it.
of smell. Okay. You can't just train to be a nose. You actually have to be nominated, and you become it because of your ability and not because of your training. It's almost like you can say everybody could be Maria Callas if you were trained by the best opera singers. Well, no, you have to have the tool. And the tool in the case of a
It's a
nose is this
gift.
elevated ability
Yeah.
in smell. So we have had 5 noses, 3 in Paris, one in New York, and one in Dubai. And the one in Dubai is actually world famous because this region is the pivotal perfume region. This guy's a superstar here, and for 1 full year, these noses decided to work differently to how they normally deliver work. A nose will normally work from an ingredient and make special accords and then blend those to create perfumes based on a brief from a brand or from a customer. Anyway, we asked them to actually build us accords, which are subcomponents to make up a perfume. So the way that the Firmenich team briefed this was to say, okay, we know that Hamid is the absolute world leader in ouds, rose, and certain woody accords. We knew that Florian in Paris was the absolute world leader in citrus and fresh accords. So basically, between them, they made a final signed off list of 80 accords. So these are proprietary. They can only be obtained through the Perfume Movement. That's a complete, unique creation with the Firmenich team. And once we had our accords, so it's like having the most incredible ingredients you could imagine on the planet combined into accords, because an accord has maybe 15 different ingredients, but its overall expression is some sort of incredible white floral expression, some sort of incredible gourmand, which is the edible notes
Mm.
expression. And then for 2 years, we've been doing 3 meetings a week where my evaluation team and the Firmenich evaluation team would try combinations, 1% of this, 2% of that, 10% of that, and combine them together with our data scientists who would then code all of those relationships. And so that we would eliminate the failures and focus on the successes. And we worked by families. So we would more or less work within the 9 main families. And we say, okay, we're low on ouds. We need to do some more ouds. And many of these accords, the crazy learning is that they can be so powerful that you have to microdose them. Like we have a coffee accord that just flattens everything, so you just need a microscopic dose. We have whiskey accords and cognac accords, which are just so strong also, and they just need to be microdosed. And others are just like the kind of enablers that work in everything and make everything amazing. So it's been this dance, and we talk about olfactory ballet or the sensory opera, and we talk about this kind of movement because we are a movement to change how you think about perfume, as in the antidote to one size fits all, that you are a unique individual with a unique profile, and we should accompany you in that journey to create your identity through perfume. So after all of that work, we set about paneling. So from 300 people, we've got a 95% response rate, as in this is totally matching my identity. You've completely
I
cracked
love
who I
it.
am through perfume. And also those that those in the 5%, the interesting thing was this was where somebody had a really very, very strong will that they knew that they knew that they liked. And that was the people who kind of almost failed. And as soon as they took their prejudice out of the ring, they were 100%. It's just basically to try and explain to you that most people do not connect nose to brain. You can say, I like this, but you can't say, well, this, I can see that this facet of this citrus, and it's not a lime, it's actually a bergamot, and I'm sensing this white flower, but it's not jasmine, it's actually osmanthus because it's warmer. You know, most people can't do that. And this is where we are when you buy an expensive perfume, even if it's not a car or a house, you're still parting with decent amounts of cash.
Mm.
And when you're absolutely lost in that journey because somebody's just saying this is the bestseller and you should wear it, and you're like, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. And also because you're actually taking your decision on the top note, and it's the base note and the heart notes that should be your decision point. It's random. So our goal is to inspire, educate, and obviously just take the guesswork out, thanks to this incredible
Yeah,
house
I
and
love
thanks to the science that's allowed us to code it.
It's amazing. It's so incredible. And I keep thinking about like my own like because I'm all about having your own personal brand identity, right? This is
Sure,
about us
sure.
being our unique,
Yeah,
authentic self. There's nothing worse
sure.
when and it's kind of a
Oh,
compliment at times when you go somewhere and someone's got the same outfit on as you
oh
or
God, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you're always like,
But look, I mean, I would coin it because I really don't like that top-down approach where there's some sort of arrogance that because you're Chanel, you automatically should be wearing me because we are Chanel, and we'll tell you that that is the trend. So we are actually bottom up in the sense that we are putting the consumer. The consumer is the muse, the star, and the center of the show.
I love it. The muse, the star, and the center of the show. No, that's exactly what it's all about. It's like how to
Yeah,
bring that unique identity
absolutely.
to life. Like I think about it. I was actually just talking to a client before. I'm like, what would you say is your distinctive asset? I talk about it in
Sure.
distinctiveness and no doubt that's exactly what you're talking about here.
Yes.
But you've got
Absolutely.
you
And it's lovely that socio-demographics and Gen Z or Gen Zs and Gen A, etc., are embracing this. Don't just sell me this completely overpriced piece of cotton and just put a label on it and tell me it's worth $500 and it's a t-shirt and stuff. And I think I'm not saying that brands and the desirability don't exist for a reason. I'm the first to say that a Kelly or a Birkin is a beautiful crafted piece of leather work from a incredible heritage house, and it's all very lovely. But I think when it comes to perfume, my belief is luxury is uniqueness, because it's not about snobbery, it's not about brand snobbery, it's not about pretentiousness. It's actually about an authentic expression.
yeah,
And I
100%.
think that's what we're working really hard to do. And I'm also wanting to be the antidote to salespeople because I think that spray being attacked or accosted by somebody spraying you is the absolute opposite to how we are functioning. And
All
very lucky. Yeah, yeah,
those little samplers. So tell me, Paul, how like so I come to you, right? Like I
yeah,
said, I come to the perfume movement, and
yes,
I'm Bee, and I'm
yes.
looking for my own unique perfume scent.
Expression. Yeah, yeah.
Like, what's the process? How does it work? Like, who's
Okay. I mean, it's relatively simple because we're taking the difficulty out of this. I mean, we work together with Firmenich on a diagnostic tool, which is a series of questions, and each question checks the other question. And it you don't have to be an expert; you just have to respond authentically, and it will ask you questions about accords, questions on usage, questions on seasons, question on how you want to feel, because Firmenich actually are real innovators. they spend a huge amount on R&D, and they have a research institute in Lausanne in Switzerland, and they spend 25 years coming up with captives that also help you feel good or feel in a certain way. So we have this Emotiboost captive, which is also dropped into our in the machine. And so if you say, look, I really want this to boost my confidence, we can literally add a little captive in there that's known to have, because the limbic system and the brain are very connected. So
Yeah.
smell and how you feel are very connected. So this is not aromatherapy. It's fine fragrance, luxury fine fragrance to smell amazing. But basically, we have a diagnostic tool. The ideal will be a physical experience, and we're launching with what we call diagnostic console. So it's in a room, and that room is an olfactory suite. So it's like going to somewhere really special, because this is a special experience, like going to a spa for perfume. And the diagnostic console it's run by the evaluator. The evaluator will walk you through, and there'll be a big screen showing up all the information. You'll say, yes, it's more this, less that. And we also are integrating a piece of technology called Air Parfum. And it's a way of actually smelling lots of different accords at the same time without being overwhelmed. So we have this Air Parfum diagnostic system, and also a pen to take your skin pH, because actually dry skins don't hold perfume very well, etc., etc. So, it's a bit of it's a quick experience, but ultimately what matters is the interaction with that person, who will say, okay, from the answers, I have your profile summary, and you are very much into these ambers and florality. And I'm just going to let you smell some of these accords to guide you. And then once you're ready, then you will commit for us to make 3 creations to start with. So that's kind of the discovery moment. And those creations are made on our machine with our robotics. And that robotic arm basically goes from accord to accord. And the docking station will reveal your perfume in the small size to start with to test. And that is then boxed. And then you have your unboxing. We have some digital art, some digital poetry, a unique piece of music, all of which you take and own to go with each of your creations. So that's kind of the process. It's actually very simple. It's very curated. And then from that moment, you can then decide. By the way, we sell unique creations. We only sell extrait de parfum. Extrait de parfum is what Chanel coined in 1921 as le parfum.
Mm.
It's the purest essence. So
Mm.
it's 25 or
Yeah.
more percentage concentration. An average perfume has 10. So we're about 25, which means we're giving you a very deep. It doesn't automatically mean strong, because if
Mm.
you want something that's not strong, you can also have it not strong. But it's the most complex and rich expression. So it's called extrait de parfum, which is pure perfume. And we're selling unique perfume oils. We have 50. And they are very expensive, but because we're filling it on our machine, we will just hold the raw materials there. And it doesn't matter even if I sell one, I can manage that because I have packaging, and I make your unique. We call it création privée. So it's your private creation. So we make your private creation
I
for
love
you.
it. It's like it's a co-creation, really, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
you're not like
totally.
it's not like that top down, but it's also not that here's what I think.
No,
It's like what you said
yeah,
when you go into a store and someone goes, "Oh, that would look good on you," or "That would smell good on
yes,
you." It's like it's
yes.
terrible, or it
It's
looks
co-curated. It's co-curated, and
yeah.
it's very much, as I said, it's about providing technical experience and knowledge. We're very lucky that a lady who is 20 years in Dubai, head of fine fragrance here, this is their #1 office in the world. The lady there for 20 years has co-curated a perfume school in Dubai with Cinquième Sens from Paris. She's a French lady, and she was part of the team that was behind the perfume movement investment by Firmenich. And so she's creating this special training, which is our specific accord level training, which is basically saying that every single person that she will be vetting them to have that X factor, that ability. You don't have to be the most academically intelligent, but you have to have this sensory skill, and to make sure that the people that come with us are, very much able to impart that knowledge because many of our accords have very specific traceability
Mm.
information. These are the three jasmine, sorry, these are the three lavenders. It's called the divas, les divas du
Oh, I
lavande,
love, yeah, I love the
So
name. That's good
we
creativity.
had all of these, this sort of antecedents, this whole history and heritage behind. Very important that our people are able to slot in and give that knowledge to everybody that comes our way. And my goal is to serve, so that ultimately you leave with a sense that, you know what, I've just bought a luxury perfume, but I'm absolutely sure that this is me. And I'm absolutely sure, and I will sample extensively. You bought the extrait, I will sample the oil, which is valuable, but I will give you that for free. And I will also give you the opportunity to subscribe, because this is my proof of concept. This is, I'm thrilled and kind of relieved on some level. But during our test market, those 300 people, pretty much all of them said, you can't leave me without the perfume now. I need to have
Yeah, that's
this, you
cool.
know?
Yeah.
So basically, 123 of them signed up to subscription, which means they have a relationship manager that gives them 3 unique creations a month and 1 bottle a month. You can have the same one if you're like, no, 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 I hope this is the one. But in reality, we find your profile and we easily give you variations. You're going to a warm holiday. You
Yeah, I was
want
about to
something
say
that
the
plays on the
seasons.
freshness.
Yeah.
You want something that's super, super sensual. You're dating somebody and you want to really express your sensuality, we can play that up,
I
so
love it.
that's kind of been our
And what
thing.
about naming conventions? Like in terms of how are you? So, for example, we co-create, and
Yes,
I call it the Bee perfume.
yeah,
Terrible name. It's so, so
100%.
Australian, but right. Like what? Like are there names for all of these, or like how do you? What are the naming conventions when you're?
No, that's lovely. That's lovely. The machine itself laser etches your QR code, your name, where it's made, and the batch number onto your product. So
Okay.
that's kind of yours. It's your IP. It's yours forever.
Oh,
If you want to share it, you can. If you want to just have it for you forever, that's for you forever.
it's
So
gorgeous.
that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And you talked about the fact that, like, the last 3 years, it's literally been, you know,
Yeah.
a minute, like, the science has been there, but you've spent more time in, art and science, but you've been more
The
in the
art,
art
yeah,
and the
because these
creativity.
very talented people, they're giving their wisdom and their art. And our job is to make sure that those world-class experts say, this is luxury niche at the highest level in this very specific family. This kind of combo is good to go. And then with the digital work, as in the AI and the coding, from one success, we make 1,000 and then we make 10,000. It extrapolates basically.
Yeah, but this is where I was going with this was this is your baby, this is your idea,
Yes,
right?
yes,
How
yes,
have you enabled yourself to stay in that almost that flow where your creativity, your juices, like you're coming up with all these ideas because everything we've talked about today is just incredible
Mm,
in terms of what
thank
you've
you.
what you've created and you've had all the right people around you. But you're the founder.
Yeah,
So how have
thank
you
you.
how have you ensured that, or how have you been able to, at times when you're, working around the clock, you've been in
Yeah,
test mode, prototyping, all
stay
that
fresh.
sort of thing. How do you keep fresh? How do you keep your own creative juices flowing?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure you've interviewed a lot of founders and CEOs of business. It's, it takes its toll.
100%.
Um, I do want to I do want to give this a positive spin because the good stuff makes it all worthwhile.
Mm.
I would actually just say that I'm in a very inspiring field, so I'm lucky that when somebody has tears in their eyes because they are very, very connected with what you're doing, then you just go, okay, that
That's
feels
good.
like the purpose it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Um, as founder and CEO, I've raised 70% of my target, and I'm crossing my fingers that because the sooner I move through that, the sooner I can focus on my creative fiber. because
It's
I'm
wanting
an
to hear.
actual,
Like his Paul's just wants it all to like you just want to be like, go, yes, I'm out of like
yeah, just let me do the good stuff.
yeah.
You know, I'm very excited because one of the partner investors is called Bond Interiors, and they are craftsman plus plus plus, and they are a 40-year-old company in this region doing the most incredible installations for the best houses, the best hotels, the best brands, the top brands. And they literally have everything in-house with all the in-house craftsmen. And they've basically said, no, we want to be in this. This is the perfume region. This is where people really understand and build perfume, their lives through perfume. And so that part is very exciting. My creative director, who I've known in many different past. He was with me when I was CEO in Saudi of a 300 store brand, and Dave has been part of this. And he's one of those lovely creatives that seamlessly is in my mind at the same time. We never conflict because he always gets me and he will add his value, and I trust his value, and that's always very, very easy and good. So we're starting to look at how we express ourselves physically, and that physical entity is going to be very warm. We were starting off with a slightly coldish, futuristic feel, and we're definitely not that today. We are more high jewelry meets luxury spa. We're using warm woods, like we have wood skin, which undulates. We have this incredible amber, like cut through an amber stone effect on
Amazing.
the walls backlit. Um, for me, luxury and perfumery is all about ouds and woods, and it's the darker tones. The lighter tones will exist, but it's the darker tones that set the luxury feel. So I think the machine might have a robotic arm that moves to classical music and is beautifully lit, but the feeling is intimacy and warmth and cocooning rather than it being a cold sort of almost like an Apple store or
Well, yeah,
something like that.
because for
Quite the
me,
opposite.
yeah, because for me, text the AI is the enabler of the perfume
Yeah,
movement, right?
yeah,
But at the end of
yeah,
the day, this is around luxe. This is around,
yes, yes,
that luxe jewelry, that luxe perfume,
absolutely,
that luxe
absolutely,
space. And yet,
absolutely.
what you've done is
Yes,
you are literally revolutionizing perfume because who would have
yes,
thought that you could put
absolutely.
AI robotics together with perfume to
Correct.
create this personal
Yeah,
identity piece when it comes to
that's right.
like because AI we were talking just before the show but AI like there's so much cookie cutter out there like in terms of content all of that and yet
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of sort of like flushing out of nonsense in it. I do think we're in
yeah
that.
I agree.
It's AI, therefore it's perfect. No, quite the opposite. So our experience is going to be very human and very personal and very cozy and very warm. We're very fortunate. I've said this a couple of times, but it really resonates with me. One, the Firmenich journey. Two, Bond and 10 family and friends who've invested in us. And you have to count your blessings because it's not an easy journey. But because of Firmenich, Altair, who own the whole Bloomingdale's and Harvey Nichols' work in the Middle East have said, look, anything Firmenich touches is the height of perfumery excellence. So please, let's accompany you. So we're working with their personal shopping crew. So we're going to do events in the female fashion, the male fashion, the beauty personal shopping. We'll take a decent sized store for a year in Bloomingdale's and basically reach out to that core market because actually here at Bloomingdale's and Harvey Nicks, they do not sell one mainstream perfume, even if people want it. They're
Mm,
only interested in the niche, which is the unique.
mm,
And all of their focus is on that. So it's a captive market. In parallel, because it's Dubai and because the traffic's getting more and more busy here, even though Dubai Mall is the world's #1 mall and it is an extraordinary place, you can wait for hours to get in there. So the big trend is off the main road, which is the beach road running along Dubai, has got all of these luxury niche villas, which are either coffee shops or luxury niche fashion, a lot of luxury home interior stores, etc. I see us there because we're an experience, unlike a brand that just says, okay, I've got 20 perfumes, this is my best sell. So, imagine it with a space around it, with valet, parking, obviously, the olive trees, all this sort of manicured hedging, floodlit with travertine coated bronze lettering, full double height projection of the digital art, our own coffee shop, a place to go to experience this spa for perfume, where you can just literally rock up easily without the traffic problems and just experience this. Of course, we're looking at a site that we've got a few sites that we're shortlisting that have an incredible visibility. So we'll get to be known and be credible with the number one luxury retail group, but we'll get to be seen in high traffic flow locations and just build ourselves that way. And with Altai, we'll do the same in the rest of the Gulf. I'm very, very excited about Korea, a luxury partner there. Very excited about Japan. Um,
And so when
but
do you officially look?
Melbourne can be a point of call too. I have one friend
Oh,
investor from Melbourne
really?
called Sue
Yeah.
Daniels. I don't know whether you've ever crossed paths Sue Daniels. So she and I go back a long way, and she's invested. And I'm saying, okay, the population might not be high, but we could do it on a curated, on a
Yeah.
sort of very much a put a machine and do some events. And
Yeah.
if as we would become known, then we can have an emporium in Melbourne. I love Melbourne, by the way.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So when are you officially like you've been testing?
Yeah.
When are you
Yes.
officially launching?
Okay, so we've been testing and we've got this initial traction and selling subscriptions. We are from April onwards in this kind of events, marketing, our own store within Bloomingdale's, and then our own emporium in June of next year. So we're in the run up, the final sort of stages we're building, we're activating, we're finalizing the integration of all our technical elements. I haven't had any time off, by the way, forever, which is
I
kind
was
of a
about
bit
to ask
crazy.
you, I was about to ask you when I asked you before about how do you get your fresh creative juices? How do you get your fresh perspective?
Yeah,
I know you're trying to stay
I'd
positive.
say
What do you do
I
for active
I'd I'd
recovery?
say a good glass of wine. I don't know how appropriate it is to say that, but
No,
like
it's
a
totally
very
fine.
high quality glass of wine. I would actually say humor is the most important thing. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, kind of
No.
thing. So
Oh
it's like
gosh, yeah.
finding the fun and the resonance in the moment. Um, I've got a team of very silly people that like to have some fun and laugh, and who are
So
very good also.
important. I think laughing is
Yeah.
so important. And if you don't laugh however many times a day,
I know.
you have to check yourself. Do
Yeah. On a serious note, I'd say when I'm when my light is going dim, I recharge through mainly, it sounds like a cliche, but it does eventually work, some kind of meditation.
Mm.
So I go into some kind of quiet place to try to figure out what these touch points, what these trigger points are, because there are many. Because in this journey, there is a lot of joy, but there are always some major obstacles, and they can be very emotionally draining. And I have to kind of say, okay, I'm seeing this, and I know why this is hurting me, but I trust, and I just lean a little bit in and just say, shh, breathe with it and go with it. My it
It's so good,
many of
Paul.
the yeah,
You're going inwards because that's what I do, right?
yeah,
Going inwards to
yeah,
reconnect with yourself to go,
yeah,
what's all this external noise going on outside and around
yeah.
me? And
And
then
I listen to podcasts. I listen to podcasts because people inspire me. Jay Shetty is somebody I
yeah,
met, the Mind
100%.
Valley guy.
Yeah.
He's
I
inspiring because he has this incredible ability to synthesize, to get to the point in a very articulate way. And, you know, I'm of a certain age, so obviously I grew up with Madonna and all of that. And she just did Jay Shetty and talked about her spiritual journey and how it's kept her alive. And I
mm,
can imagine because she's just too much, it's just too much what she's lived almost,
yeah.
and Emma Watson I listened to last night. These cases inspire me because she was talking about how actually she was being eaten alive by the movie industry and she was just not surviving it. And she just said, I'm always be an actor. This is my job. But for now, it's on hold. It's not serving me, you know? So
Yeah, it's got to serve you. I could not agree more. And especially as a founder and an entrepreneur, right? And especially in a creative space that you're in and the need
yes,
to be able to sense check yourself. But
totally.
tell me two more questions because I'm going to let you get back to your day because no doubt
Oh,
you
thank
have
you.
a lot to get through
I
today.
do, but I'm actually going to the gym because I missed out today. So
No, this is
just
good. This is
I'm just
active
gonna put
recovery.
my, I'm gonna put my 80s gear on, the leg warmers, not, you know,
But
head
like, no,
off to the
it's
gym.
called, you should be, you know what is a good tip is to have that micro break in the middle of the day. So
Yeah,
when you're at your most creative, whether it's in the morning or the afternoon,
sure.
like turning off them from the morning to the afternoon to get back to your
Yes,
day. So what can we expect? So launching next year, what's
yes.
the next big focus? Like, is it worldwide? Like, what's your biggest
Yeah.
vision, North Star for the perfume movement?
Yeah, no, it's fabulous. I mean, when you start a new business, you have your vision, but your vision changes, and I think it's very important that it changes because you have to listen and respond to your environment. So I would say, I always felt that wherever there is a need for me and the perfume movement and my people, we will be there. And I think, but I don't want to just rush it. I want to make
No,
sure we are locally relevant, as in my story should not be one size fits all either. I
no.
think there's a tone of voice of a city. So for me, it's to tune in and to learn and to serve and to express the tone of voice of that city. I think a Melbourne launch will be very different from a Japan launch. It's just going to
Yeah, I
be
love
very
that.
different.
So
So
distinctive.
I think it's about saying, okay, let's get our lovely experience going. Let's fine tune it. Let's improve. Let's learn. Let's make it special. I personally am looking forward to being more in the magic and less in the financials. But I think it's not going to
Joys of
disappear,
the
the
founder.
financial
The
part. It's
joys of
always
a
going to be
founder.
part of my job. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
Yes. And then last question for you. It's a quick one, but what would be one piece of advice you would give a founder or somebody who had a dream as big as yours,
right.
who's bringing it to life, but they didn't know where to start with that dream. So all they had was they were waking up in the middle of the night, they had this
Well,
dream, and every day, what would be one piece of advice you would give them to get
yeah.
started?
Yeah. One piece of advice that I've learned is to to um to work on your resilience, as in just lean in and also just breathe through, because I would have given this up maybe 100 times already. And I think it's just realizing that the quality of resilience and persistence is everything. You're gonna automatically have shamers, blamers, and judgmental people coming in and just saying, this has been done. Why do you think you can do this? All of those sort of things. So I think, the classic stuff, make sure your model's profitable. I know
Yeah.
it's boring, but you have to have enough margin to serve your business. So, being profitable. Um, I think the early days are about your fans and about either private individuals or skin in the game people. So if you're in a specific segment, look for the type of people who will win in
Mm,
investing in you,
mm.
because it takes all the risk out. Firmenich exclusively partnered with me. I build this perfume with them. I buy it from them and they serve me. So we're in this win-win scenario. They invested because they believed in in the co-creation. So I think in the early days is to find people who can provide service to you, and they'll be your early investors. And then you get your friends and you get a few people to put in $5,000 each,
Find your
and
fans is basically what you're
you get a
saying.
bunch of
Yeah.
fans, or 50K is the average ticket that I raised for 10. that was 500,000. It was significant for me. And I think it's just nurture the self-belief and the resilience, but start off in that model, but then work on your VC model, because your VC model unfortunately is more corporate. It's very much one size
Mm,
fits all, and they want you to just say, this is the problem, this is the solution, this is my
mm,
traction, this is the market, this
mm,
is the opportunity. And you just have to reel that off. It bores me senseless. It
mm.
really does. And when somebody asks me to rewrite something I've written 1,000 times in another way just because it suits their corporate structure, I kind of do it because I know for me to then raise the big money, because
You have to.
it's working here, it needs to work across the
Yeah,
Gulf, it needs to work in the Forest. Then these are people that are, it's just kind of like a bank that's saying, okay, we want to
yeah.
support you in the growth. So then you go after the gray suits, and I'm not a gray suit. I tend to fail classic psychometrics because I tend to be more of a rule breaker than a rule maker.
I can tell, Paul, and I'm going to let you get to the gym just on that. You're going to go and go to the gym, and then you're going to come back and break some rules when you get back into the business for the
Yeah,
rest of today. How do
yeah.
we find out about more about you? How do we find out more about the
Thank
perfume
you.
movement?
Well, info at theperfumemovement.com is a direct link to our team.
Hmm.
The website is a holding page website. It's not at the level it should be, but we're up there. You can find out enough about us. Follow me on LinkedIn. The various campaigns are constantly. I use LinkedIn very heavily. We will launch on Instagram when we have our curated content, because I don't want to mess around and just
No,
have a
no.
semi-curated model. It needs to be fully
Yeah.
functioning. So you can find me that way. And if you want to invest in me, I'm a very, and without sounding too selly, there's not many opportunities in this
I
perfume
love it,
world. So,
Paul. Yeah,
so
you've
this
thrown
one
it
is
in.
a good one.
You've thrown it in. Thank you, Paul.
It's a good one.
It's been such a pleasure. I can't wait to get my own personal.
Do you have my WhatsApp? I would like to have my relationship manager get your diagnostics and create three initially, and then one full size
Thank
100 of
you.
the one that works for
I'll
you.
message you. I don't have your WhatsApp, but
Yeah.
I'll email you and we will
Yes.
reconnect. And
It's a pleasure.
I'm going to come to Dubai for the launch next year.
Please, please, please. You will be very much part of that inner sanctum. You'll be very happy to have you.
Thank you, Paul. It's
Take
been a
care.
pleasure. You too.
Thank
Enjoy your
you.
afternoon. Thank you.